I just want to know where you stand. You stand with the powerful, privileged, those people who look down on us. Or you stand with your brothers and your sisters on the ground. You want to talk about the 1%? 1% of what they spend on weapons in a year could send every single kid to school. Never stop this madness.
Hello. Alright, so at the end of my last stream, I got the physics optimized, and I got this running, I got 10,000 particles running at 50 frames per second, which I think is pretty good. But one of the issues was Windows 10 locked up, and my whole computer crashed, and I had to it didn't crash, but it locked up, and I had to hard restart it. So that ended my stream 2 days ago. That was kind of disappointing. I've been looking and there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with my PC. So I don't know what that could have been. My CPU and GPU wasn't even hot. It was like 50 Celsius. No idea. One of the things that I figured out after I went off stream though is that the rendering was lagging. And I figured out that is because it's actually running on the Intel integrated graphics, and that's also running my OBS. And that was lagging the stream, and I'm almost wondering if that was lagging the encoder or something, and that's what caused my whole system to freeze. I don't know though. That's something I've actually had before. I haven't had it happen for like a year, but I have had Windows 10 do that before where it just completely freezes up. I think it also could be a video driver issue. But anyways, I figured out afterwards that if you add these exported symbols to your code, NV Optimus enablement, this enables the NVIDIA card over integrated graphics. And the AMD Power Express is the equivalent for AMD. So I figured out after adding that to my particles, it ended up running at full 50 frames per second in rendering. But you'll see the GPU, so this is one of the bad things with the GPU. The startup here lags for like so this is an issue I actually have to fix. You'll see here the frames per second, they're gonna... Okay, maybe they won't spike up. Sometimes this will spike up way more than 90, this will spike to like 1,000 frames per second because it'll lag at the beginning. I need to fix that. I can actually add a limit to the what's it called, the timing, the timer. Alright, so anyways, now we can see when we run it, 50 frames per second, 50 ticks per second. Well, it's basically there, 49.8, 50.15, and you can see here we've got the 10,000 particles running at 10k frames per second. So I'm really happy with that. Okay, it actually looks like one of them is stuck in the other one here. That's interesting. I wonder what that is. They might actually be spawning in each other. Let me look. Yes, I think these ones might be. I think what also could be happening is once I leave it running for a few seconds and the velocity builds up, it's going so fast that it basically looks like it's floating, but it's actually bouncing up and down. Alright, one of the other things I'm realizing here is for some reason my thing is glitched. Oh god, that's seriously glitched. Oh, and now after I'm toggling that, it's glitching these. Oh my god, there's some sort of memory overflow. Let's see if I can get it to use more memory. Testing. So it seems to use more memory. Okay, so there's something messed up about that. Otherwise, though, this is good. So wait, let me see if this happens in the Intel mode. No. Oh my god. Okay, so it's... Oh, it's something with the NVIDIA drivers. Shit. Or not necessarily with the NVIDIA, but... You can see it's not glitching out here. Okay, so I'm gonna debug what's different. So I'm going to output the alignment. I'm also going to output the max uniform buffer size. Actually, let's do that right there. I actually don't remember what this is. Let me look it up. OpenGL query uniform buffer size, max uniform block size. I'll just query all of these. Oops. What I'm guessing is one of these is smaller than the Intel cards version, or the Intel cards, and then I've actually programmed it to work with a certain amount, and then the video card doesn't have that amount. But that doesn't make sense, because if the NVIDIA card would have more, wouldn't it? I don't know, we'll see. Alright, now I'll output it. Wait, holy shit, max uniform buffer size of 65536? Is that the same? Oh my god, it is different, I think. I actually think I measured this before and I remember the results, and I think the NVIDIA is lower. Okay, so the alignment is bigger. Oops. Okay, so it actually has the exact same, just the alignment. I think the alignment only has to do with uniform blocks, though. It might be something with resizing. Alright, everything is aligned. I have alignment. Alright, well, let's test this more. I haven't even actually tested to see if this happens each time. Oh yeah, it does. What's interesting is it only happens with these ones right here. I almost think it's like the depth buffer isn't being cleared or something. But it is clearing. Maybe I have to set clear depth again, I don't know. This is weird, I actually don't think like everything is working perfectly. Except for this depth testing. Right here. Something really fucky's going on. Okay, can I just like... Is this not impressive that it's running 10,000 game objects right now, and each game object... Okay, it's not impressive how buggy it is, but it's running 10,000 game objects, each with a GUI component and a rigid body. That's pretty good. But look, yeah, this is definitely something with the depth testing and not an actual bug. It's not crashing. Everything is still functioning. Except for the depth testing is something... It's actually with the text it almost looks like. I don't think it's with the uniform data. If if it's transparent, it discards. Ooh, that might be it. That might have been what it is. For whatever reason, the transparency on that might be Okay, that didn't fix this. It did fix all the text here. Okay, it fixed... Yeah, it fixed... Okay. Fixed it. You know what? I think, I do still want that though. So basically what that'll do is that if I have text or something here, it won't render depth. Hey, said who? I'm still improving the engine. I got the 10,000 particles. Look. Here's the crappy thing about the GPU though, is the startup time, when it boots up the GPU there, is like a few seconds. Anyways, look at this. Full 50 frames and 50 ticks. So the physics is on one thread, the logic thread, and the rendering is on another thread. And the rendering thread also handles mouse and keyboard input, because it's the main thread which gets all events and everything. I am very happy with this so far. So I know I'm going to try and make a game that uses this physics. What I'm going to work on today for the physics engine is like a joint system where I can connect these in strings. I'm going to try and make like a Tarzan game where you jump between vines. And the vines are actually simulated ropes. And so I already built a little test for how I could do joints on Shader Toy, and it's actually really scuffed. There's a game like that from 1999. I had that on PC. Well, if I can remake an actual game, that would be really cool. But yeah, this is my test before. This should even be able to do the swinging and this has scuffed collisions where, because it's like one step in Shader Toy, you can actually see it kind of gets caught on itself. So I can do this way better in my engine now that's actually on the CPU. I gotta say, I don't think physics is made for the GPU, because you really have to like do it one step at a time. Unless you're doing something like this fluid sim. Tarzan action game gameplay. Oh my god. Oh man, I've been meaning to try and do a better one of these before. It works as slow as all SDL2 programs. Have you tried to use EGL or Vulkan? Yeah, I have. You don't get any faster. The only time... Okay. Alright. You wanna see the usage for this? Paddle Tennis 2D right here. 20% CPU usage, 5% GPU usage. It is not at all throttled by the GPU. 17.5%, or around like close to that, is the CPU thread for the physics. It's basically maxing out. It's optimized as much as it can be with a grid acceleration structure. The rendering thread is only using like 4 or 5%, which for 10,000 objects updating at 50 frames a second, I think that's pretty damn good. That's like actually really good. Modern engines have issues with that number of objects. And it's stable as hell with 50 megabytes. Whoa, actually, what is this? The GPU is spiking between 18%. And why the hell is Firefox using 25% of my GPU? Oh, I have a fluid sim running. I'm an idiot. Yeah, that explains it. Oh, wait, do I have the rendering? I actually think I have it coded to disable the rendering when it's minimized. Yeah, so you can see closing the rendering, it's using like 13%. Input latency in SDL is high. No, it isn't. It uses basically the exact same input as everything else. No one uses direct input anymore. Everyone just uses the operating system input. And SDL isn't like, where SDL shines isn't for Windows. Where SDL shines is for Linux, where you have like 3 different audio libraries, like Pulse Audio, that you need to deal with. And then you also have like 2 different window managers, like X Window and Wayland. SDL handles all of that for you. That's where SDL is amazing. And yeah, SDL handles input. Yeah, Pulse Audio also. Yeah, SDL isn't like amazing for Windows. SDL is amazing for Linux. Realistic Newtonian physics is really slow because every object depends on every other object. Yep. Yeah, so even that fast fluid transform sim, like, the Fourier transform operates on every single pixel of that grid. So, like, it is literally dependent on every other object. The only reason it's optimized is because the fast Fourier transform has certain I don't know, certain aspects of the sine waves and cosine waves that you can take advantage of. Anyways, I'm really happy that this isn't completely scuffed. One of the things I want to check is, though, I want to just make sure there's no more inconsistencies. So, the other thing, the one thing that I don't... So there's this bar down here, and on the Intel version here, it's all good. The bar covers the whole bottom. But on the NVIDIA version, the bar only covers up to there. So I'm really curious. That's probably, considering nothing else is screwed up, I'm guessing that's an issue with my programming somewhere. Also, if it looks like there's input lag on the stream, it's most likely because my stream's only 30 frames per second. Alright, so that bar is part of the editor. So let's look at the editor code and see if I messed anything up. Editor menu bar. Let me see if it's different for... the Intel and NVIDIA. That would be weird. Oh, it might also be the position. Oh yeah, another thing I want to test is adding back this, but doing if equals 0. Did you actually write that UI from scratch? Yeah. The font loading is right here. It loads in English, just English character, 127 of the ASCII English characters. It stores them in a red-green red-green 8 texture. It doesn't do any fancy distant font rendering, but it's really efficient on memory and it's really fast because the GUI is all instanced. Where's the actual... The actual GUI rendering code right here. You can see it's just 2 for loops with a GL draw arrays instanced. And each of these instanced arrays combines any of the GUI objects with the same texture, so any of the text using the same fonts. It can render... what's the count? It's GUI blit batch count, I think. GUI blit. batch. 204, so it can render up to 204 characters in one instance call. And it also does culling on all of those before it updates them. So like if the text is off screen, I actually benchmarked it when I was programming it. It could handle 1 million characters scrolling up and down at 50 frames per second. I did that like 2 years ago. Now I'm finally like, I need to finish this engine and, or not finish it, but actually put like it's so close to being functional for making games. Or I got it so close to being functional and then I just stopped working on it. I guess I kind of burnt myself out on it. Because it is really heavy programming. No, so this is exactly the same. Alright, so it's not that. Let's see. The menu bar is added to the GUI. I don't think it would be the GUI. Let me just try clearing the color, just for testing. It's so, oh man, I debug things so much differently than other people. I reverse engineer my own code. I don't use a debugger. I isolate the variables until I know what's wrong. Oh my god, oh, it has it. Okay, so it has the issue. So it's nothing with depth testing or anything. I should actually save 2 versions of this. I'm going to save the Intel version that works so that I can keep opening up as a reference. Even though it's kind of just the bar at the bottom. So I'm having this really weird GUI glitch right now. We're on the Intel integrated graphics. Okay, actually, this is probably super hard to see on the stream. Hold on. Right. Okay, so I'm making the GUI bar at the bottom red now, so this will be easy to see. This is such a small issue, but it's actually such a big thing because it could be like an actual big glitch in how the rendering is done. Okay, so this, wait, what? So this red bar at the bottom, what are these? What are those? What are those black squares? What the hell? Okay, so it's supposed to be rendering like bar across the bottom here. Why it has black squares right there, only God knows. Maybe God doesn't even know. That is some... Oh, wait. What? Okay, so anyways, that's on the Intel card. So I didn't even realize until I turned it red there that it's also kind of bugged on the Intel card. That's super interesting. I wonder if that's actually like depth. I think actually what it is the depth is the exact same. So here's it on the NVIDIA card. I think I figured it out now. It's depth fighting. Okay, so you can see here on the NVIDIA card, it has even more of a, like it's supposed to be a block all across the bottom, but you can see it's like crossed off at the bottom. Okay, so let me look at these. Position Z, 1. Alright, well the Z is 1. So that should be... That actually there shouldn't be any Z fighting, because there shouldn't be anything else there. Unless I'm missing something. Let me... It's the rendering thread. Right here. So the way the render works is it actually overrides the rendering and update thread, so it can inject the rendering, the editor functions. So I can actually mess up and sometimes forget to copy over changes I've made. Okay, so it's clearing the color buffer bit here. That still shouldn't. Let's see if the same issue happens without clearing the color buffer. Yep. Also, just to isolate everything, disable everything here. Okay, maybe another thing it could be, I guess, is scissor test, but I think I have that. GL scissor. OpenGL scissor. This could be What the hell? Why wouldn't they just make it open to... Damn, that's really weird. I don't know why they wouldn't just make that index variable open. Okay, whatever. Instance ID. Alright. Int varying is not flat interpolated. Why does it, if that's required, why doesn't it automatically just do flat interpolation? I don't think that's how you do flat interpolation, but I might be wrong. Yeah, okay, wait. OpenGL flat interpolation. If flat interpolation is the only thing you can use with integers, why doesn't it just automatically enable flat? Flat shading, that's so weird. Color, no such field. Oh, tint. The real word is tint. Okay, there we go. Alright, so there's something right here. Let's do some debugging. Let's output this screen UV. We are gonna see what the screen UV looks like. Wait. What the hell? Do you see these blocks? Wait, I gotta do absolute value on this. Wait. Screen UV times equal aspect. Maybe. Hey, I'm back. I overclocked my CPU and RAM. Damn, dude, good luck with that. Make sure it doesn't overheat. Okay, so maybe my issue actually is here that I'm reading the screen UV when it's an output variable. Nice, man. Well, make sure you monitor the temperature and everything. The default interpolation qualifier is smooth, performs a perspective correct interpolation. No perspective performs a linear interpolation in window space. Flat, the value is not interpolated, the value given to the fragment shader. I actually think I need no perspective because I'm doing the perspective fix myself. I can test that though. It's XMS profile, whatever it's called. I updated my BIOS and lost my config. Pretty sure my GPU can be up to like 4.5. Yeah, it's not really about what it can be. It's more like it lowers the lifetime of your CPU. Alright, so I think as well, because this has no perspective. No perspective. This should be faster, right? So I'm not doing any, so my computer freezes often. I had my first computer freeze in like a year yet the other day. My stream crashed. That was interesting. I blame Windows 10. Okay, so I will calculate this actually here. Alright, so instead I'll calculate the screen UV right here. Yeah, if I had to guess, the bug was because I was reading an output variable. I think that can cause bugs. Alright. Let's see now. Oh, it's correct. That was it. Wait, so I'm also interested. I'm gonna set it back to the smooth from the no perspective. Maybe it was the perspective correction messing it up. No, it wasn't. Yeah, okay, so good thing to note. Cannot read an output variable here or it will give you serious bugs. Or not serious bugs, but glitches. That's an interesting bug though, just to recreate it here to show it off. Nah, actually, why would I do that? I'm just gonna move ahead on developing this. Now, oh man, feels good to fix a bug. Oh wait, actually, I shouldn't say that yet. Let's make sure this compiles. Oh my god, it's still there. What? Wait a minute. Visual Studio 2019 is so bad. Dude, is it slow just like the other versions? for some reason they want me to log into my Microsoft account to use an offline product, and I'm actually doing it in an unknown area. You have to... Yeah, I hate this whole thing where you have to sign into everything to use it. No one does offline products anymore. Wait, no, it's still really low resolution. Oh my god, and it just crashed. What the hell? Well, only with crack you can have it offline, yeah. Oh god, what just happened? I wonder if I probably pressed something. Let me disable all the buttons here, but it actually looks like this is you can actually here. Let me ramp up. If I put it through sign, it'll probably make it noticeable. It's not smooth. So you see these little glitchy blocks here? What the hell are those? Precision high P float. Wait. Precision high P int. Maybe it's because I'm reading this instance ID here. I'll see which one it is. Yeah, it's really slow sometimes. Yeah, I tried disabling IntelliSense, but that only goes so far. So if I had to guess, I'm reading this output value again, which was the same issue before. So here I'll have to use a different macro. It's so funny, why do you have to log in to use a free community version? So that they can get your data. Why else? Alright, let's still try and make this easier to notice. There we go. Oh my god, look at those glitchy blocks. So this is supposed to be a smooth sine wave across the X and Y. I wonder if this isn't actually screen UV. Told me I have to agree for them to access private and public repos from GitHub. I have no idea. Alright, so that wasn't it. I'm going to try this a different way too. I'm just going to do it across the x-axis. VS has an image and model editor extension package. I'm not surprised. They probably have everything. Syntax error. Oops. Okay, look at this. This is how it's supposed to look. Oh, what is this? So it's correct on these buttons right here. These buttons, where it has the smooth waves, that's correct. That's the correct screen UV. So what is going on here? What are these blocky... Okay, let me see. I haven't tried the NVIDIA version for a bit. Let's see what the NVIDIA... Man, if this is a NVIDIA Optimus bug, that's just gonna be shitty. Okay, that's still correct. With some bugs right here. Okay, that's weird how it flips on the y-axis. I actually think this is an issue with the rotation right here. I wonder if I take the rotation out of here. I'm gonna add joints. I thought about a few different ways of doing this. I think I could just add it to the rigid body 2D, which I also need to clean up a bit. I haven't fixed up this code. I can delete a bunch of parts of this. I'll do that afterwards though. So I could just add it right here, just create a list of joints. I think the way I'm going to do the joints is it's just one big list of all the connected particles, and they attract and repel each other, and also transfer velocity based off distance. So you can basically then connect any number of particles to get a whole variety of shapes. I think I might just do it right here. Actually, oh, another thing I was thinking of doing is adding the gravity after all the processing here. Yeah, I'm just going to do the joint right here. Joint 2D. I don't know if I want to call it joint or connected bodies. Real public into H stream? Yeah, it's a public into I stream. I'm not doing shaders though, I'm doing C programming. Right now I'm working on a physics engine for my game engine. Specifically joints. I don't even know if I want to do this as a component, because I think it's something you're going to be setting up. I'd set up programmatically. I basically have to build a list of bodies. I don't know if the attraction or repulsion radius should be different, but we'll see. I wonder if viscosity is a good word for it. I think viscosity is the right term for like a more stiff, like zero viscosity would be like a nearly solid rope. Watched you work on this same engine 2 to 4 days ago. Just realized who you were after scrolling down. Oh, that's really cool. It's cool to see so many people from Shader Toy. Said Who has also posted a bunch of stuff on Shader Toy. Yeah. I don't think there's any optimization I can do for the joints, really, just... especially when I'm just testing it right now, I shouldn't really get too complicated. Just doing a list of the joints. Then I'll have a function for creating a new joint system. Oh my god, this is actually super simple. It's literally just a list. I almost feel bad having a structure for this. I guess it's also adding. I am the colander hat man. There's a lot of colander hat men, right? Mr. Pastafarian. This one. Oh, okay. Oh my god, hi Balkan. Oh man, it's been a while. This seems so stupid to have functions that are just single other function calls. Seems like such a waste, but... So our joint springs, yeah. Yeah, basically, the viscosity is like, the lateral springiness, almost. Or at least that's what I'm thinking. I'm still programming it. As you can see, I have a bunch of commented code from when I was testing this before. Now I just gotta loop through the joints and do the processing for them. At the beginning, I'm just gonna do a traction and repulsion, and I think that already should give a nice effect. Alright, so then once I have the joint, I loop through all the bodies in that joint. Oh wait, I didn't set this up all the way. Size of... And you know what, yeah, I'm gonna initialize these. Alright, yeah, and then I can just add rigid bodies to that list. Oh yeah, this is going to be the expensive part. So I actually need to loop through the bodies and then loop through them again, repelling from each other. That's not going to be cheap, but the idea is I shouldn't really have that many joints in a scene anyways. Anyways, maybe I'll save another... Actually, no, I can just load it up again here. Wait, what was... It just pasted an empty line for some reason. So then, if this rigid body equals the rigid body we're currently processing, we skip that. Alright, so now we want to add velocity to this rigid body as it gets near. Oh, wait! You only need to calculate... Oh man, I need to think about this. I only need to calculate the distance between each pair once. I'll need to... If I loop through each one separately, it's going to be calculating the distance between them each twice. So wait. What would be a way that if I had, like... So if I have 2, it's super easy. Then it's just like, I just process this one, and it also processes that one. But let's say I've got 3. It processes this. The distance from this one to this one, and the distance from this one to this one. Repels both of those from that one, so it's already processed this one. Then when it processes this one, so if this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3, that's a scuffed 3. Oh man. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3. If it processes 1, it's already connected these 2, attracted and repelled these 2. So if it processes number 2, I'm gonna change the color to represent the step. So then it doesn't need to do this one because it's already done that. It just needs to repel this. So then 1 and 2 have repelled and attracted, 1 and 3 have repelled and attracted, and then 2 and 3 have repelled and attracted. Then 3 doesn't have to do anything. Oh, okay. Alright, so now let's see. This should actually be a pretty simple for loop. So now if you've got 4, 1 is also going to process to 4. 2 is also going to process to 4. Or attract to repel. 1's D3, I know, right? Attract and repel 4. So then the only thing that hasn't attracted and repelled here is 3 and 4. 1's attracted and repelled with everything. 2's attracted and repelled with everything. 3 hasn't attracted. 3, the only thing it hasn't attracted and repelled with is 4. Okay, I get this. Actually, so you loop through the first one, you loop through all the other ones. The second one, you loop through all of them minus the first one. So far and so forth. So then you don't need to ever process the last one. Okay, you know what? This actually isn't too bad for performance. So then this is going to be I equals K. I'm going to load in the velocity of this rigid body. And the position. So that I can easily process it here. Oh yeah, I should also load in the joint system options. Okay, now calculate the position difference. This is just the distance function to a circle. Actually, it's not the distance. How am I going to do... So I guess the attraction and repulsion is going to be based off difference. Oh, there's a few different... There's so many different ways I could do this. I guess I just got to test them. See, at first I think I'll just try like constant distance. So when it goes within a certain radius, it repels, and when it goes outside a certain radius, it attracts. Hey, welcome back, said who? I think I'm going to hard code this. At first, I'm actually not going to use these options. Just so that I can test it more easily. BitChute's amazing. I like the culture and how it's built. Man, I don't know if I like BitChute's culture. I checked that out, and there's some extremist stuff on there. Some pretty extreme stuff. I have a spring force function, but I guess you want to do it yourself. Yeah, I'm not necessarily looking for a realistic one either. This is more for like a game engine where Of course, I want it to look realistic. I more want it to perform well than actually be realistic. That's subjective. Yeah, I don't know. You did say you wanted to go. You liked it because it didn't enforce rules like YouTube did, so. Yeah, in my opinion, it's not really about being anti-religion. It's about saying that you should shoot any people of that religion that comes to your country. That shit is extreme. Okay, so this force function, this can just turn into a, I'll do the repulsion first. Hey, thanks for the follow, Roscu. I like 4chan. 4chan actually has a pretty good technology community. Looks like a mix of Fleshball and B. Oh god. Yeah, do yourself is good. I don't think I can go in depth talking about 4chan on Twitch. Can both like and dislike. You know what I liked? I liked the really old system when you could rate things between 5 stars. When you could, like, when it wasn't an absolute thing of like or dislike. Oh man. There's another thing I don't know how I want to do. I don't know if I want to base it on distance so that it repels more as it gets farther. That would make sense though. GeoTrick. Hey, which editor is this? This is gedit. It's normally used on Linux, but I am using it on Windows. I like it because it's just really fast and lightweight, and I get lag sometimes with Visual Studio. Alright, so this is the repulsion, this is the attraction. So now, if the force does not equal 0, then it's going to apply this to the velocity. sad because most of the BitChute like politics, sexual religion. I wish it just stayed in the category it's supposed to. But yeah, I guess once you get that community forming, it's like that's your like foundation. Okay, so I'm gonna need to normalize this if distance does not equal 0. Alright, so now dx is the normal direction, so we're going to add that to the velocity multiplied by the force. And this is actually going to go both ways, so we're going to do this to each of the object's velocities. So let me just make sure, what direction is this? So this is the direction towards this object. Okay. So positive value in this is repulsion. Alright, so this needs to be negative. I just don't like YouTube video. I was making meme videos in like 2016. I have a lot of my videos flagged. I'm sure I use copyright-free songs. Yeah, there's a huge problem with copyright abuse though, or just like trolls. I gotta be honest, I have copyright strikes on 95% of my YouTube videos. I thought that was a regular thing for nearly everyone now. The reason why YouTube is targeted so much more is because, first of all, it's so popular. Or the reason why you see it so much more on YouTube than places like Twitch is that, like, YouTube, the video's right there, and that a person can easily go and send a link. Like, a person can go and report this to the DMCA, and they can go and send a DMCA and they can open it and go, yeah, this is a video of copyright content. Whereas on Twitch, if they send a live stream, you can't do that because the live stream might not be playing the copyright content anymore. You gotta like record it, then you actually have to like gather evidence, or like on Twitch you have to know how to clip things, which is like not as easy. I used a meme clip of a black guy crying used on a reality TV show for like 15 seconds. Yeah, that's actually a pretty normal thing to get copyright striked for. Television specifically is like all copyrighted. Oh, okay, so actually this is just force. Like this, then I just add that to the one, subtract it from the other. Hell yeah. Alright, so that should be the basic joint connection and springs. Moving to phone Twitch for a smoke. Alright, man, have a good smoke. But they want to make money from that? Of course they do. There's people that want to make money from you taking a shit. Okay, so I'm going to need to change around this test now. I actually don't know what I didn't actually think about this. What kind of a test do I want to do for the joints? I guess I'll make something where I can like pick up the pick up a rigid body and drag it around. Oh wait, I'm an idiot. That's literally what my editor is for. I can already select objects and move them. Derp. Oh man. Okay. So create. My cat is meowing. I wonder. I'll get up in a minute and see what he wants. He has food and everything, but could one out. Alright, so I'll create my joint system 2D. New joint system 2D. Twitch site is slower than YouTube. Both have a lot of ads and analytics. My PC hangs sometimes because of it. Dude, YouTube is slow as hell if I don't have ad blocker on. Twitch is pretty bad, but YouTube is actually the worst for me. But yeah, there's... Said who? You said I like simpler sites? I don't know any site these days that's simple. Like Google was like, oh yeah, we favor faster websites in the search results, and then the whole AMP scandal came out that tons of people are still pissed at them about. ShaderToy is pretty simple. Yeah, that's a good example. ShaderToy performance has actually improved a whole bunch, in my opinion, as well. At least recently. Yeah, and they added mobile support. It already worked really well for me on mobile. Might just be because my Android phone, but... Alright, I'm just going to copy this initialization code from before, but instead I'm going to add it to the joint system. ShaderToy runs pretty well on mobile. It's buggy as heck, though. A whole bunch of... That's the interesting thing I found about WebGL2 on mobile, is it allows WebGL2, but a whole bunch of parts of WebGL2 don't actually work on the mobile browsers, which is normally not the way it works. Normally they just say WebGL won't work. Like, normally they say WebGL isn't supported. I asked a long time ago for being able to change my email address. They still don't allow you to do that, so when I stream I have to hide my screen on the profile page. Yeah, that's a pretty bad thing too, that they just show your email address right there when you go on your profile page. Alright, so this creates the rigid bodies. Then I will add them to the joint system. Then I will enable the joint system. There we go. Okay, this should do it. This should... Alright, with a particle size of 0.05, this should pull them towards each other. Object is not a member. Oh yeah, it's a base.object. Okay, that's bugged. For some reason they're spawned right there in the corner, I don't know what. And also, I forgot to... I set that engine editor bar to red to test that, and I forgot to set it back. Okay, wait, actually, let me look. What is... Let me disable this joint system. Oh, this is doing divided by 100. There we go. Okay, what is that? Okay, hold on. I need to test something. That is, size, radius. Wait, this isn't adding up. Why are they are obviously going inside of each other? What the heck is happening there? Oh, I know. This grid size that I set up is way too big. I saw a video about that 2D particle sim. I really want to do something like that. Man, you can... I gotta be honest, this isn't like... Have you seen the code for this? It is... Like, honestly, it's basically doing reflect and dot product. Is like the basis of this. The major hard part is optimizing the collisions, which is something you can do afterwards. Which is the exact thing that's bugging out for me right now. Shader Toy has Google Analytics, which makes it slower. GitHub has no Google Analytics. My website has no Google Analytics. Alright, yeah, so the grid size space is 0.015, but the object space is 0.05, so the objects aren't fitting in the grid. So I need to change the grid size to something like 1 divided to 16. Or actually, wait, 32 maybe? Yeah, 32 should work. Really? Why don't people just write their own code to do that? Is it really that hard? It's hard to do fast. It's actually pretty expensive to run a bunch of databases. And when every single one of your web requests has to go through a database, read and write, I think it's actually... Oh, okay, so it's still kind of got... That's so weird. Yeah, it's definitely not aligning. So wait, 2 divided by 32 should be able to fit. I do have all this code enabled, right? Yeah. Maybe my calculations are off. Oh no, there's something definitely bugged out. Let me disable the grid. This is just using 4 objects anyways, it doesn't need to be optimized. Oh no, so it is something about the grid. You can see here it's working. It's working properly. This is actually really mesmerizing to watch. They're synchronized in a way. Did you not replace a bunch of add collide by add joints? No, that's not how this physics engine works. Each rigid body is a circle, so it doesn't even need to add a collider to it. So I actually think I can see a little bit of a glitch there with the grid. Let me try making the grid even bigger. So there's definitely something wrong with this grid. Yeah, now it looks even more perfect. I didn't actually replace anything. I added this new code that loops through the joint systems, then loops through the bodies in those systems, and adds the attraction and repulsion velocities to keep joints together like springs. Yeah, it's a basic spring joint. But then I found out an issue with this, how it's sorting the particles into a grid. For some reason, when I actually set up the grid size, or when I set up the grid doesn't work properly with these, it seems like, at least. So 0.05. Let me make sure I'm not overwriting this either. If not defined, define. Maybe this is an integer, this being an integer and not a float. Alright, that's so weird it's not bugging out now. Let me just test this. Alright, so if I imagine I've got a grid, Alright. So imagine each grid space. How big actually are these? Oh man, this is a small grid. Alright. So imagine our grid. We've got our circles sorted into it. Each grid cell is, just for ease of use, let's imagine it's also 0.05. It's the size of the radius. So imagine we have our circle with that radius. So if that cell is 0.5, is 9 by 9, then 18 by 18, or 17 by 17 is the full. So this should be working. As long as it's actually, yeah, so as long as it's searching nearby grid spaces, this should work, but for some reason it's not. Makes me wonder. Could be something wrong with the actual collision checking code. Everything here looks good. Yeah, so this should never fill up more than 4 grid slots. So searching the surrounding slots like it does here should work. Maybe it's not updating them effectively? I don't know. Yeah, so I guess it's too small. Nah, it still should work. Oh, wait. This, when it becomes grid-based, only becomes up to the grid distance. At most up to the grid distance. Oh, man, okay. Okay, so actually, so the minimum distance from one of these points here is going to be like right to here, a straight line across one of these axes, which is going to be 1.5. Actually, the minimum possible distance might actually be from one of these corners. By the way, man, do you have anti-AI, like anti-aliasing for particles? I don't have anti-aliasing for any 2D rendering. I just let maps do the job. Alright, so if it's like going from the corner, the farthest distance it could go is to like another corner here, which, yeah, I guess is the radius. Got myself tea. Nice. What kind? Moroccan Arabic tea? Arabic? Arabic. Did I just say Arabic? This is what happens when I talk this much in the morning. Alright, so I think the grid gap is now the minimum distance. No, that didn't fix it. I mean language. Okay, yeah. Wait, actually, the biggest difference is half of it right here. Alright. So multiplied by 2, or half. Multiplied by 2, what am I saying? Multiplied by 0.5. Oh, it crashed. What is that? Wait. Did it actually just crash from me multiplying something by 0.5? That's a weird one. Huh. So let me think about this actually as well. If this one is positioned like right here, so it's only going to be accessible from right here. This one isn't going to catch it, so its max movement distance is going to be half of the grid gap here. Unless the requirement is that the radius of these has to be within this. In which case, then I can search up to half the blocks away. Okay. So this needs to be twice the radius. I get it. And I need to limit that. Alright. Oh man, this is good. I already fixed a bug in the physics engine. And that would have been a big bug causing things to pass through each other. So now they should, yep, collide perfectly. Hell yeah. Oh no. I gotta fix that. So look at this. When I drag the window, it stops rendering. And it builds up the frame and timing debt. And then all of a sudden it does 500 frames per second. Oh no, that's brutal. Okay. So I'm gonna fix that right now, because I've been saying I'm gonna fix that for a while. I gotta go in my timer function to the sync hertz macro, and I gotta do something I can do to forgive the debt. I don't know how to say it. Like, basically, if it hits a certain point, it just starts. If it gets so far behind, it starts just skipping. I guess what I could also do is I could go into the rendering thread code and add this check myself. I don't know what to call this. Debt forgiveness? That sounds so goddamn bad for a programming term, for a programming variable name. Maybe call it lapse. Max lapse. So I'm going to do if hsync time Oh yeah, and I need to have the timing match up. So then if this delta time becomes smaller than our max lapse, then we're going to forgive it. And now I'm also going to add a macro definition for this. If not define, update. Timing lapse. I'm just gonna do 1,000. And then we're gonna do a way smaller value for the rendering. So now, right here when we do the sync hertz, we do render time lapse. Here we do update time lapse. Okay, so now the frame rate hopefully shouldn't spike to 500 frames per second. Oh my god, it's constantly rendering at 500. What did I do? So that had the opposite effect. Alright, so time now minus the synchronized time. That means, let's say, like, it's lagging at second past. Delta time's up to 1,000. Okay, it's actually supposed to be the opposite way. Sync time minus like that. So then if delta time bigger than max. Alright, that should hopefully do it. No. Oh my god, I'm doing delta time instead of h delta time. Delta time is a float of the fixed float delta time. Here we go. Oh, awesome. Okay, now it doesn't spike to 500 frames per second when the window is... So that probably would have happened when the window is minimized too. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so now the physics engine is actually fixed, or at least for now, objects aren't passing through each other. And I figured out some more math about the grid collision optimization, so that's all very good. Now we can finally try enabling this joint system and seeing if it actually attracts or repels or how that does. And I think I'm going to change one little option here. So I made them 0.05 radius, but I made the attraction and repulsion radius way smaller than that. So I think I'm going to make the repulsion radius 0 so that they never repel, but I'm going to make the attraction radius like 0.06, so it's just outside the collision radius. Okay, so it definitely adds way too much velocity to them. Definitely adds way too much velocity. This is really good though, because none of them have, even though they're traveling at, oh, I can't beat the velocity. Even though it's traveling insanely fast, none of them have flown out of the box yet. Really a testament to this collision system. Anyways, what I should do, I believe, is multiply this by the delta time. There we go. Alright, so this is going to be really weird too because they're bouncy. I'll probably want to disable the bounce. Oh my god, okay, so if I disable gravity, this should actually look really cool because they should just have the gravity of each other. Oh, it seems like not all of them are attracted to each other. I don't know. It's hard to tell. It pretty much looks like it's working though. So we'll try turning off bounce. Or maybe do at least a tiny little bit of bounce. Oh yeah, so you can see right there, one was attracted to the other way more. So here I can move them around. So I definitely need to I'm not sure if I need to scale this up more based off distance. I probably should. But what I'm looking at right now is how they're attracting to each other. I want to see if there's a way I can get them to keep this sort of, like, they obviously like to form a square like this. I want to see if I can keep them together more without passing through as much. Try and get them to respond faster. Like, okay, so here, when I pull this one away, it almost doesn't seem to be pulling these ones. I don't know what's going on there. I'll just do the attraction here. Maybe I need to turn this up. The radius difference. Let me just look at this again actually. So I equals K. So I don't need to check here if they're equal. I could just do I equals K plus 1. And then I only need to do this once, or one less. So that might have been the issue. Alright, that's weird. This one, like, basically isn't connected at all. I equals k plus 1. That off by 1 in an array? Yeah, you are right. You are actually right on it. Right here I assign this other body without... actually, not just off by 1, but I start the array here, but forget to increment the pointer as well by that. Good call. So they were actually being attracted to themselves. Oh yeah, here we go. Alright, I want to see if I could probably make this more stable too by changing how the distance or force attenuates over distance. It's so cool though how they always end up forming back into this square shape. It just takes time, but they eventually find this. It's gonna get it soon. There it goes. I guess these are almost like atoms or something. Huh. Anyways, let's try not doing this over distance. Just making it constant. Did you take into account a rest length in the distance calculation? Yeah. My rest length is basically inachievable right now though, because it's right against so it works slowly, but I can move the, oh man, I need to find an easier way to move these. Oh man, so actually I think I would need to select 2 of these to move it. Or I need to push it like this. Anyways, this whole thing, this won't work in its current state for strings. For strings, I need like ordered connection. I need this one to connect to that one to connect to that one to connect to that one. And then I could actually probably still keep this shape by connecting them in a loop, right? I think. Anyways, I don't think this is the way to do like ropes and strings. This is cool, but this distance calculation seems to be better though. It finds that lowest state quicker. Still not. So right now they are all jointed together, right? Yep. So my plan is to make it so that they have an order and that one is connected to the other instead of them all being connected. And then I can technically all connect them in an order and they should keep their structure better as well. Like how I wanted to keep them in a square shape. Oh yeah, another thing I'm thinking of doing is instead of doing this with velocity, I'm thinking of including a custom another variable just called movement, so that instead of setting the velocity to make these pull back towards each other like this, it makes it yeah, I need to add rest length really into this. I think that's the key. I think just doing movement instead of velocity will stop this wild swinging around because it won't interfere with the other velocity, I think. So that's too much rest length. Clothes incoming. I don't think I'll ever get cloth physics fully working like sheets of particles. Seems really hard. Yeah, so I think also making these connected will mean that when I pull this one, it'll pull those more and actually allow it to move easier. It already works kind of well though. Let me try adding velocity or gravity. Yeah, I'm gonna switch around how this joint system works and instead make it an ordered list. Oh, so interesting. They stop gravity because they attract and repel to each other in the current way. So I need to actually make them share their velocity. So when they go out of that range, it's also going to share velocity. Oh, okay. So I don't know if I want to linearly interpolate towards that velocity or just to test, I can try adding a little bit from each. Oh, no. Oh yeah, I need to multiply it by... Maybe even do it by the force. Alright, something's buggy there. Oh, it's subtracting. Oh my god. Oh no, all the velocity is adding up. Alright, so I think this way I'm doing it right now, changing the velocity to move them towards each other is a really bad way of doing it. Like the velocity, the other changes in velocity cause it to not match up and swing wildly around, cause giant gaps to show up. One of the things I want with trying to get with this joint system is the objects to stay together and not spring apart. So that's going to be really hard doing, like, yeah. As far as I'm aware, that's how most joints in physics engine works, though, is like springs. So my other idea, though, is setting a movement component directly that does movement steps to keep the joints connected together. So then each rigid body is moved to keep the joints connected, and then the velocities aren't necessarily attracted or repelled. Instead, they're combined depending on if the rope actually shares velocities between particles. Otherwise, they're just held together. Yeah, so then there's the really difficult thing, though, of like gravity. Is if the movement to keep the joints connected goes in the opposite direction of gravity, it could override gravity and stop things from falling. So that's another thing about this method right here that's kind of nice. I guess if I do just increase this force, it should keep them together strongly, right? Yeah, but then they don't fall from gravity. Oh yeah, that's working pretty well, though, to keep them connected. Now I just need to combine their actual velocity so that it falls. It's not easy to drag either. Alright, so how would I combine these velocities when I'm adding the attraction and repulsion? Actually, I guess it's dependent on this connection radius. Yeah. So that allows them to fall normally. Are you not adding them together? No. I'm not adding the velocities together right now. That's a good idea, though. Yeah, so I'll need buffers actually for the positions at this to do this. Unless I just you know. So the correct way to do it is I need to store each of the old velocities and then use that when I'm calculating these new velocities. Because otherwise it's going to add the attracted and repelled velocities together. Oh, actually, I could go through before this even loops through and do that. Or I can do it afterwards. Try before and after, see which one works. Oh yeah, I still think I'm going to need to store them in a buffer though here. Although I'm not sure, I actually think I can do it in a similar method to right here. Actually, this should, if I combine them all, just equally, okay. Alright, then we average this velocity. And then we set each of them to the velocity. So let's see, that should make them move more in sync and stay together, I believe. crashed. Oh, need to set the body here. And actually, this is a waste of incrementing right here. Alright. Oh, wait, that actually looked really good. Okay. I actually think this will work way better for like strings and things. I don't think it works that well for like this type of object, but good luck further. Got to go. It's looking good. Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm gonna go and grab lunch. So that'll probably gonna end the stream for now. I think I'll be back soon in like an hour or so, because I want to get this working way better. It just really threw me off when Windows opened Explorer and half screen. Anyways, thanks to anyone who watched the stream this morning. I hope you enjoy physics programming as much as I do. Oh man, I cannot wait until this game engine is in better shape. I'm going to be doing the one-button game jam over the next few days. Just a small, simple 2D game, so if anyone's interested in game development, be sure to check that out. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Hope you have a good day. I'll see you around.